So what are we doing now? Remember, O'Connor talked about strategy. What else did he talk about? Measurement, right? And then he talked about systems thinking. You're thinking, what's this systems thinking about? Not many textbooks talk about systems thinking. It's not in the Horngren textbook directly. It's not in many balanced scorecard textbooks. They always talk about strategy and measurement. Oh, wow, what's O'Connor doing? He's complicating things. No. What I really sense here is that systems thinking is the glue that holds everything together. It holds the perspectives together. By going through systems thinking, I want you to realize that with the balanced scorecard of we have these perspectives, we have all these measures, that there is some secret system that we're trying to measure. We would never ever find out exactly what that system is because it keeps changing. Why? Because customer preferences change, because competitors change, maybe strategies change, but it's that system that flows through the organization. When you train someone in customer service, then that person goes behind the counter and the following month they're able to increase their sales by 20%. They're able to increase customer satisfaction by 50%. How does that occur? Well, there's this hidden system behind the training that you gave the staff, and now suddenly they're more confident. Suddenly they have more skills. They have new ways of engaging with the customer. And then the mystery happens. They actually engage with the customer, and then the customer decides psychologically to buy the product. The customer feels that they have had an extra service of value from the organization, so they feel more satisfied. They feel as though they may want to come back again. How do we make a connection between that training and the customer purchase? You see what I mean here? And so this is why I want to emphasize in all my teaching of the balanced scorecard, ultimately at the end of the day, no matter what the strategy, no matter what we measure, there is some system. And don't forget the system. You cannot see it, but you're always trying to make it more visible with a set of measures. You're trying to make it more visible by engaging your employees to try and understand, Mr. Employee, you engaged with a customer this month and suddenly you made 20% more sales. Mr. Employee, your customers are 50% more satisfied than the ones you served in the previous month. How did that occur? And so you can engage the employees to find out, well, Mr. Boss, when you took me to this training camp, I learned new ways of actually starting the conversation with the customer so they don't feel intimidated. Mr. Boss, when I went to this training camp, I learned new features of this product that I really didn't fully understand before, and I wasn't really confident to explain it to the customer, so I didn't begin to explain that. Thank you, Mr. Employee, Mr. and Mrs. Employee, for telling me this. So now I get to understand how the training is kind of linked to customer satisfaction, how training is linked to customer purchasing activity. You see what I mean? We start to understand the system. And so when you understand the system more, it makes you focus more on what we need to do at the learning and growth level, what we need to do at the process level. And it makes you focus more on the areas in which you have direct control over, because you don't control the financials. You do not directly control the customer. You can brainwash them through advertising, which all the big companies do. But as I said earlier, you don't directly control them. And this is the point I wanted to make and why systems thinking is very important. So I've been yabbering on for a while now, but I just am so big on getting my students to understand what is systems thinking about. And so the role of systems thinking is really to focus on which two perspectives provided the best feedback for strategy execution. Okay, So we can ask these two questions. If the internal measure improved and the external measure did not, maybe there's a poor causal link. In other words, you sent the employee to training and customer sales didn't improve, then you can get feedback from the employee to find out, oh, did the training really help you? Not really. It was nice to have a break and a rest from work, but I didn't learn anything new from this training. So maybe you need to change the training and get a new trainer. Maybe get me. Good idea, maybe. All right. Or next, if the internal measure did not improve and the external measure did improve, maybe we have the wrong strategy, or there are market factors out of control. Maybe one of your competitors failed. Maybe they closed up shop. Maybe they decided not to compete in your space because you're already doing a good job, and then you got more sales. So it wasn't due to the training. It wasn't due to the employee's competence. So you need to know these type of scenarios in trying to uncover what are the causal links in your organization. So let's have a look. Here I am in the shower. Okay, yes. And this is like a closed loop. In other words, a system is made up of an adjustment, that is hot or cold, because when you have a shower, in the old days, is when I was growing up as a kid, we had a hot tap, we had a cold tap, and the number one rule is don't get under the shower head before you turn the water on, right? It could be too hot, too cold, you don't know. So you adjust it. And so firstly, when you turn the water on, oh, too hot. So you turn the hot back a bit, turn the cold on a little bit more. A little bit better now. Okay, so you've got a system that actually generates water, and you have an action that changes the temperature of the water, and then you've got your hand detecting the temperature of the water. That gives you feedback. And basically that's what the business system is about. So you have an action, that is, you have a sales generating machine where customers come in, they look at it close, and they decide to buy or not. And then you may have a taps, which may be how you train the employees to engage with the customer or not. So you may decide, we're going to turn that tap of training on a lot and make the employees much more capable. And then you see what happens with the sales generation machine. The next month, sales didn't go up very much. Maybe we need to adjust the training. Maybe we need to hire more skilled employees instead. Change the tap. Are you with me? Then sales in the following month. Sales are increasing a lot. So the skilled employees is much more valuable to me than just doing the training. Or maybe I need to change the type of training. You see what I mean here? So businesses are turning the taps all the time. Where to invest money in training, where to hire people, how many people to put in the store, for example. It could be the same in a factory. How many machines to have, how many supervisors to have, how many people to have on the assembly line, how much training to give. These are all decisions that businesses make, and they're like the taps in the shower. And so the balanced scorecard is kind of giving you feedback every week or every month about how the system is going, because you're putting money and resources into trying different things, and you want that feedback as fast as possible so you can turn off that tap if it's not working. You don't want to have a bad tap on, that is investment in a machine or in training that doesn't work, and you don't want to leave that on for too long, because you waste too much money. All right, you want to turn it off, and if it's not working, as soon as possible. And so this is what we mean by how the system is very, very important, and we're trying to get that feedback so we can make adjustments to refine what is necessary for business success. So here we have systems thinking. It's visualizing, it's a strategy map, it's connecting the dots. And we know, what do we mean by connecting the dots? Steve Jobs. He talked about that, especially his Stanford commencement speech. I think it was 2007, 2005, where he said, look, you cannot always connect the dots looking forward, but you can always look back and see how the dots have connected. So you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust the dots will somehow connect in the future. Here we have chipset. And so far, we keep on coming back to chipset, don't we? Chipset has a cost leadership strategy. Chipset has a balanced scorecard. And I've taken you through some examples of the measures that are used at each perspective in the balanced scorecard, in the financial, the customer, the internal business perspective, and the learning and growth perspective. You know that. But now we're looking at a strategy map. And guess what this strategy map looks like? It looks like a systems diagram. It actually looks like a group of circles and arrows. And this is very important for trying to understand what does the system look like in the organization. And so what I do when I go consult and engage an organization thinking about a balanced scorecard is we actually start with a strategy map even before we do measurement, because understanding the system or what you believe the system to be like is critical to finding out which measures are going to be relevant for giving us feedback signals at different points of that system. And so here's our strategy map. And what does it tell us? Let me take you through the story here for chipset. Of course, we've got to start at the source. So if chipset empowers the workforce, then it may help align employee and organization goals. And an empowered workforce can help chipset improve processes. Maybe they're more engaged. Maybe they don't go to sleep after lunch. You know what I mean? When you get some food in your tummy, your stomach. All right. And maybe if we develop the process skills of the employees, then it helps align their goals and also improve process. Maybe also we enhance the information system capabilities that can improve processes, because the information system is given feedback as to what to do, what not to do. Maybe we're measuring the quality control processes on the assembly operations in the organization. So if we can improve processes, maybe we can meet specified delivery dates. You know what we mean at 90% compared to 92%, you know that. And if we can meet specified delivery dates, then we can increase customer satisfaction. And if we can improve post-sales service because we've got better processes, that can also generate increased customer satisfaction. And we can improve manufacturing quality and productivity. Why? Because now we have better employees engaged. We have engaged employees. We are trying to improve manufacturing capability, maybe investment in R&D, maybe we put a new machine in place. So that enables us to improve manufacturing quality and productivity. Improved processes lead us to reduce delivery time to customers. Overall, these will increase customer satisfaction. Then that can lead to increased market share, and then we can grow operating income and thereby increase shareholder value. So this is what a strategy map does. It helps to tell the story of chipset's winning strategy, what chipset believes will be their winning strategy, maybe for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months, for the next 12 months. Okay, maybe in 2 years' time the strategy will change, so we need to do another strategy map. But here's how a strategy map works really. What you do is when you are starting implementing a balanced scorecard is you get all the employees in a room and you ask them, maybe there's 50 of them, get 10 groups of 5, and for each group, get each group to come up with what they believe the strategy map looks like and get them all to present. And so find out from the employees what they picture in their mind, what they think the viable strategy is for chipset, for your organization, because you want to understand what the employees are thinking. Because if they're thinking something different than what you are, the executive is thinking, the boss, the leader, then you've got a problem. Because it's very easy to come into a meeting and you, the leader, say, here's our strategy now. everyone follow this. And you've got 50 people in the meeting, then you've got 50 different versions of this strategy. And employee number 1 is going to look at this and say, that's pretty close to what I think. I think there's an arrow that goes from here to here. I don't think we can improve processes. I think we can improve our capability. And another employer may say, I don't think the way the company goes about empowering us leads to improved processes, or it doesn't really get us engaged. I think the company's wasting money down here. And employee number 3 is thinking, this new information system, that's creating more headaches than actually helping us improve processes. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm still going to do it my way anyway. When I input data, I'm going to just put it in my way anyway. So if you go into an employee meeting and tell them that this is our strategy map, then you're not going to get an engaged employee mindset in terms of an engaged culture and an aligned culture. This part here, alignment, you're not going to get an alignment. So what I recommend you do, and what I do with the companies I work with, is I get the employer to get the employees to come up with the strategy map, and to let them come up with different strategy maps and to explain what they think. In other words, tell me, the boss, tell you, the boss, what is in the employees' minds, and that then begins the basis for change. And real change can only occur when you start with what is in the employees' minds, and then you can understand, why do you think like that, Mr. Employee 1? Mr. Employee 3, I notice you don't see information system linking to anything. Why is that? And they may say, well, I don't like the new system that you're going to put in place. I don't like the way that you have to enter all this data. It slows me down. I didn't know that. Really? Maybe we need to get more feedback from you about how we can make the information system work better. I didn't know this. And so you're going to learn a lot if you get employees to first come up with some kind of strategy map. And you're going to learn a lot. And this is the basis for beginning change in the organization, and to begin the basis of the development of a balanced scorecard that is going to be accepted by the employees, because now you started with them participating in the strategy map. So this is your systems thinking. So you're reading me now. Remember I said earlier, many textbooks really don't focus on the strategy map. They don't focus so much on the systems thinking. And this is why the systems thinking is so critical to the implementation of a successful balanced scorecard. Yes, you got strategy. Yes, you got measures, but you really got to start with the system in the organization and the strategy. Measures come last. I hope you get that. All right, let's see what's next on the slides here. All right, so we have a systems thinking example here. I can take you through it in the classroom, but what we do is I ask you, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 shareholder value, 7 different items. What would you link from starting from the first process to the last process, or the first item to the last item? The last item is going to be shareholder value. Customer buying behavior and customer satisfaction is going to come late in the process. What else? You're going to have selection and staffing. It's likely to come earlier. And then you're going to have some employee added value and satisfaction is going to come after selection and staffing. And so you get the idea here about what would come first, then second, then third, then fourth, and fifth. And we can link these together to create a system. So this is a way of starting from a simple approach, even for a simple, small organization. You can get a group of 10 or 15 employees to just think in terms of a little box diagram like this, and then that can be put forward into something like selection staffing, employee satisfaction, then employee added value, Customer satisfaction leads to customer buying behavior, and then sustained profitability. So there you have it, systems thinking, and a little simple exercise just to cap off that section of the video. The last part, because we have talked about in a previous video strategy, we spent most of this video talking about systems thinking. The last part is measurement. You know this, and that's basically about formalizing different parts of the process or the system in the organization. And so we can come back to Chipset's balanced scorecard and think about the system that we put forward. But now we don't see the processes or the different dynamic states of employee engagement, their satisfaction and what they're doing, or the information system situation. What we see now are measures that correspond to the different parts of the strategy map. And so now, last point is measures come last. And it's better to get the measures wrong than the system wrong. Let me repeat. It's better to get the measures wrong than the system as diagrammed by the strategy map wrong. And why is that? Because it's easy to change a measure. It's much harder to correct or uncover or to realize that you've made a mistake with a connection between one objective and another objective. Okay, and it's always easier to have multiple measures of one objective to test which measure is getting at the heart of the objective you are focusing on. So keep that in mind. I won't dwell too much on the actual measures, but just to show you here that here are some examples from Chipset. It's taken from the scorecard. Now we put it into this strategy map, and there you have the measures positioned. We can go back to our Cafe de Coral or Maxim's example with those 7 or 8 attributes that we linked together in a system. Remember, what were they? Selection and staffing, okay, employee satisfaction, employee empowerment, you got customer satisfaction, customer buying behavior, and then profits of the organization and shareholder value. Now I can ask you, of those attributes, which of these measures matter? And I can ask you, okay, how could these fit in to that strategy map I asked you to put together earlier? So here's our strategy map: selection and staffing, employee satisfaction, employee added value, customer satisfaction, customer buying behavior, sustained profitability. Our final step is to say we need to have measures that give us signals about how each of these processes are going. Is that true? Yes. So now for selection and staffing, we can start to measure new hires, education, and work experience. For employee satisfaction, we can start to measure the support that we give employees, how fair we are to the employees, or how we supervise them. In other words, these are kind of like input measures, not actually direct output measures of satisfaction. And then we can start to measure their empowerment, accountability, to make sure that they transfer satisfaction into added value. In other words, these are kind of like focusing feedback measures. Okay, are the employees feeling empowered? Some accountability measures about KPI. Are customers, are they getting recognition from the customers? Customers saying that they did a good job in their fast food business. It's kind of like an accountability that they are doing what they are supposed to do in their role. And so this is, if we believe that this is connected to employee added value, then you want to measure those two things. Then we can go to customer satisfaction, about the quality, shopping experience, timeliness, their buying behavior, whether they come back Would they refer your business to other customers, and the frequency at which they come to your business? Sustained profitability and shareholder value. You see what I mean there? So we have measures of each of these parts, and they can help give us signals about how this system is working and if it is working. Why would you do that? Well, it may help give you feedback about whether do you invest more in staffing selection, or do you invest more in training? That could be a decision that you make. Do you invest more in making sure that the customers are engaged, or maybe it's how you supervise the employees, okay? Or maybe it's how you actually change the decor of the shop because you get feedback from customers that they like the shopping experience, not due to the engagement of the employees. They're very engaged, but also the seating is nice, the painting is nice, there are other parts of the shop that are nice. You see, you won't know that until you start asking questions that are associated with each of these measures. So there is measurement out of SMS. All right, we've had strategy, we had systems thinking, and then we got measurement. You know that. All right, so we're closing up this video soon. There's another example here. I won't go through this in this video, but again, we're trying to do the same. With the balanced scorecard, SMS is what the balanced scorecard is about. Number one, strategy. And what is the desired strategy of the organization? Number two, can we convert that strategy into some kind of strategy map and create a system of linkages between employee skills and attitude, whether it's quality food or fast service, or customer loyalty and profit. So there's kind of a linkage there that we want to try and find within your particular organization. And can we kind of draw that linkage? And more importantly, not employer or leader, can you get your employees to draw this linkage? Can you get your employees to identify the particular strategy that your organization is trying to focus on, or the story of the strategy? That is, we have empowered employees, and when they engage with the customers, they're so excited. The customers feel their empowerment, so they're inclined to buy more, to come back more, to recommend more. Then that results in more profits. You can see that story that we're trying to tell. So we've got our strategy, we've got our story of a sustained business successful strategy, and that's encapsulated in the strategy map. And then finally, we have measures that try to formalize different parts of that strategy map or different parts of that story. So you know how you're going. You know how you're going. You're getting feedback, faster feedback, more on time feedback to make little adjustments at different parts of the strategy map. And more importantly, adjustments in the areas where you have most control over, which is over the learning and growth, which is over the internal business processes, and less so the customer. And that's the big takeaway. There you have it, the balanced scorecard, SMS, strategy, measurement, and systems thinking. You got it. You got O'Connor on the YouTube. Catch you in the class. Catch you in the next video. Thank you, and bye for now.